Hi, my name's Rob Scott from UC Today, and welcome to another monthly Microsoft Teams news update. So, just before we get started, I just want to give Ribbon Communications a quick shout out for being this month's sponsor. And as always, I'm joined by Tom Arbuthnot, UC Solutions Architect, Microsoft Certified Master and MVP. Welcome, Tom.
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
Yeah, really good, really good. Yeah, not too bad. The sun is shining here in England.
Yeah. I thought I'd take a chance and work out in the garden. So we'll have to see how we get on with lawnmowers and dog noises. But I've been working out in the garden for a few days while it's been sunny. It's been nice.
Yeah, good man. I don't blame you. Well, let's jump on today's monthly update. So, I mean, not a huge amount's been happening recently in Teams world in the last few weeks, but we've got a few updates. So, Tom, first of all, we said we'd talk about Operator Connect. There's a bit of an update on that, isn't there?
Yeah, Operator Connect is really big news. So we've talked about it previously on the pod, but now it's rolled out globally in public preview. And this is quite unusual for Microsoft to roll out globally all at once in public preview. So it's quite a big event. 11 carriers are on the list and working now. So BT, NTT, Pure IP, Telenor, New Wave, Intrado, Telekom Deutschland, Tata, OBS, Verizon, and Rogers for Business, covering various countries with PSTN connectivity. And the key thing here is they integrate to Microsoft Teams on the back end. So you just sign up with them as a carrier through the Microsoft Teams admin center. They provision the numbers directly to the admin center, and all the techie stuff is handled on the back end between Microsoft and that carrier.
So it really is a self-service kind of solution now. I can go in my admin center. I don't need to know a huge amount, about the tech. Really, I can go in and get numbers from these providers.
Yeah, exactly. Previously, we had the model where you went to Microsoft Direct and it was all magic on the back end and you get them, or you went direct routing, in which case you had to connect the operator's SBC to your individual tenant. So there was a bit of technical stuff to do. Either you owned an SBC and managed it and you connected the carrier, or you went to a carrier and said, give me your technical details, I'll connect it up. Whereas now it's all very like end user administration. I want some numbers, assign them, and off it goes. You don't need to know about trunks or routes or anything like that, or any SBC config. You just pay your money for your minutes and or numbers.
Great. And I was reading your blog, which I'm going to put a link in the description, but it's a very, very useful blog if you're looking for more information on Operator Connect. It's on Tom's website. But you've got a section there that also tells people what, if you're interested in being an Operator Connect partner, what you need to do to qualify to be on that kind of platform.
Yeah, there's an immense amount of interest, obviously. I mean, it's kind of that's the new bar, I think, to be in this space. If you're not on that program, then you're at a disadvantage in selling direct routing. So I know that there's a lot more carriers already queued up to go through it, but it's not just a case of signing up. You have to meet agreed contractual SLAs. You have to have direct peering with Microsoft through Azure, and you have to be a legit tier 1 carrier. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes with who makes the list and who doesn't, how long it takes. I suspect we'll see tens of carriers on that list by the end of the year.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's available in preview. So how long will it kind of stay in that stage, do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. There's been a fairly robust tap on it. So Microsoft never give dates around these things, but I think they'll see how it works and how it scales. And it's not just preview because of technical stuff. That's almost easier. It's about how's all the customer relationship stuff going to go? How's all the contractual stuff going to go? So we'll see. I don't have a firm date, but it's up and working now. I've seen it working, so you can go and use it now, subject to it being in preview.
Wow, the floodgates are open, as they say. Super. Okay, let's move on to the next one then. So we said we talk about Microsoft Build, which is Microsoft's annual kind of developer software engineering kind of event. Tell us more.
Yeah. So Build is the technical kind of developer type conference, and Ignite is the more kind of IT pro. But the two do overlap a little bit these days with kind of the kind of citizen developer type movement as well. So the lines are blurring a lot. It's the whole Microsoft stack. It's Azure. It's all the products. But I've pulled out the news for ACS and for Microsoft Teams. And just a reminder, ACS is Azure Communication Services. So that's essentially the underpinnings of Teams, but being sold as a CPaaS service. And it's interesting to keep an eye on that because they're integrating that to Microsoft Teams more and more. So the first one on ACS is they're adding call recording. So this is first party call recording where you can hit the API, say you want your session recorded, and it will spit you out an MP4 with the video and the audio on. So one of the use cases for ACS is having things like doctor-patient engagements or sessions. You can now record them directly on the ACS platform.
Wow, so not just voice but video as well.
Yep, yeah, and leveraging the same type of technology that's used for convenience recording in Microsoft Teams, basically.
Nice.
Next one up on ACS is direct routing for Azure communication services. So this is interesting because this is kind of following the Microsoft Teams route. So ACS does have US phone numbers available, but that's it. But you can bring your own session border controller to bring numbers from the rest of the world. So very much like Teams. And I think it wouldn't be a stretch to think at some point you're going to see some kind of direct relationship with carriers like Operator Connect for ACS in the future. But right now, they're just reasserting that soon they will have, I think they've committed this quarter, they'll have direct routing support. So you can bring your own SBC, bring your own carrier, connect to your own existing PBX.
Wow, so there's a lot more to come by the sounds of things there, and from Microsoft.
Yeah, it's one of the weak areas of ACS compared to like an Amazon or a Twilio. They both have larger first-party PSTN number coverage and SMS coverage. So this is quite a clever way for Microsoft to jump out to have global coverage by bringing in third-party carriers.
Excellent.
And
Okay.
then last on the ACS front is a library of graphical assets, which doesn't sound very exciting, but they're all Teams themed. So again, this is Microsoft just asserting if you want to build something that interacts with Teams and you want to give it a Teams-like look and feel, here's a bunch of graphics for your use cases, your layouts, your buttons. So it all feels like the Teams design language, but it's your own product. And we've seen Microsoft do that in the past with Skype and with Lync, where they're like, we want third-party integrations to look and feel a bit like Lync or Skype at the time. And this is the same thing for Teams now.
Excellent. So just talk us through a typical scenario there, Tom. I mean, when would you use this?
Yeah, so anytime you want to leverage Teams as a platform to bring audio and video into your line of business app or your third-party app. So say you're a bank and you want to have customer engagement. Private banking is the one that comes up a lot. You want to have a one-to-one experience between the private banking organization and the individual. You can have the UBS, Credit Suisse, whatever bank app, and to them, it's just that app. But under the covers, it's using the Teams infrastructure, and critically on the back end, the banker or the agent or the operator, whatever your language is, can run native Teams. So you have the benefits of having no kind of third-party app on the organization's laptop or machine, but you get to customize the experience for the customer on the front end.
Nice. Yeah, I see that. Very flexible indeed. Great. Okay, and there was some Teams news, was there?
Teams news. So it's again developer-y kind of bent to it, but the first one was shared stage integration for third-party apps. So in English, that is third-party applications can take over the screen on a meeting now. So if you're collaborating around a scenario, let's say you're doing design work, you can have the design program be part of the meeting and bring up the design that you could all interact with in the middle of the screen. So Microsoft call it a stage when they think about layouts and things, which is pretty interesting because it means that the experience you have in Microsoft Teams with those apps as a meeting is superior than just your classic screen sharing. They bring it into the meeting rather than saying, now share your desktop to the third-party app.
Right. Very nice.
Yeah, lots of potential for that. I mean, it's only the beginning, but you can see how usually when you're having a meeting around something. It might be a project plan or a design or some work. Microsoft are trying to kind of bring us away from just the classic meet screen share into like, how do we get that to be part of the meeting? How do each person in the meeting engage with that, maybe add to the design or answer questions or whatever it may be, and let that have center stage, not just a screen share.
And is that something that's going to be available soon?
Yeah, they've got a few previews out now, so I think it's something that developers can look at now. I'm not sure about GA dates, but there's a whole lot of work being done around apps in meetings to take them beyond just the classic screen share, so worth looking at.
Great. Anything else?
Together mode extensibility. So together mode, the mode where Microsoft dynamically rearranges speakers in a meeting over a virtual background, so you can all look like you're around a table or on a roller coaster or whatever. Microsoft have released extensions to build your own scenarios, so you can move where the users go and what the background is. 2 use cases for this. Obviously, there's some interesting brand ones, like people can put people in certain situations. You might have a virtual conference room that's all branded up with your company's branding. And we've certainly seen bigger organizations want to brand that experience so that it feels like a ABC organization meeting, not just a generic meeting space.
That's an interesting one, isn't it, in this work from home world, that organisations still want to do that. I suppose it does make sense, especially amongst the large corporates.
Yeah, you lose a lot of branding in virtual meetings, and we certainly had conversations like legal is a big vertical for this. There's a lot of value in classically in the brand and the really nice, London meeting space and everything else. And then when they have meetings where everybody's working from home, they lose some of that gravitas. So trying to make people aware it's a meeting with ABC law firm is interesting to them.
Fantastic. And was there anything else?
Yeah, a couple more. So this has been announced twice, so I'm taking this with a pinch of salt until it happens. But purchasing third-party apps directly from the Microsoft Teams store. So Microsoft Teams has its own app store. Microsoft has a history of having lots of app stores, but the Microsoft Teams one is really well populated. But everything in it is free, or you have to buy a subscription outside of the store. So say you're using ServiceNow or you're using Trello, you can download plugins to bring Trello or ServiceNow into Teams, but if you want to subscribe to those services, you go to that third party. Microsoft wants to bring first party ability to sign up for those apps commercially into the Teams App Store. And more for the smaller apps than the big ones. Trello, you'd probably naturally go to their website, but there are lots of people developing apps that want to monetize them that don't have their own first party app store experience, that would rather transact through Microsoft.
So that's an interesting move. Does that mean that Microsoft will, effectively be taking some kind of commission or cut from?
Yeah, I've asked exactly the same question because it's such a hot topic at the moment, and
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Apple are taking a ton of heat over that at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. I'll be keeping a really close eye on it. If I had to guess, probably not, because they don't in some of their other stores. But it's a very much a product group and Microsoft decision, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll have a blog as soon as I know for sure.
Fantastic. Okay, what's next?
And the last one is Teams app customizations. Let me just pull that up.
So these are all quite technical updates today.
Yeah, I want to make sure I get this one right. So this is quite interesting as well, and it's Teams apps, as in bots and third-party plugins. Lots of organizations, we've actually had this, they like your app. So Modality builds an app to do push training content and governance best practices, but they want to deploy it as ABC helper bot, not as Modality Teams training bot. And they want to have their logo and their corporate branding and their language in the about description. So I'm quite surprised to see this, but it's really positive, is Microsoft will allow you to upload a third-party app and then tweak things like the name, the description, the logo to make it in line with your company's branding. Okay,
interesting. A couple of brand updates. I suppose that's where that extra level of customization really starts to kick in, isn't it? When
and it's Microsoft trying to push Teams more and more as a platform. It's almost like the UC stuff is becoming table stakes. Like, we've all got great video, we've all got background blur, we've all got this, that, and the other. But with the third-party app integration, with the customization of experiences, that's where you're like, well, can competitors do this? Can competitors do that? And Microsoft have always been clever with ecosystem in this respect, is if the line of business app you use integrates tightly with Teams, that just makes Teams much more likely to be your platform of choice.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hugely customizable. And the more I hear about it, what it can do, it really is a complete kind of platform toolkit, for, collaboration and communication. So very, great to see. In terms of what else we got coming up, Tom, we said we'd mention one of your events that you're attending.
Yeah. There's a few events coming up. We're kind of into the summer season, so it will start to slow down. But one I wanted to call out was Cavell's one. They're doing an Opportunities with Microsoft virtual day, which I think is quite interesting. They've had lots of feedback from partners who are doing Teams or doing direct routing and are looking for the bigger opportunity. So this whole day is about what are the other opportunities in the Microsoft ecosystem, and I'm doing one on building a strategy beyond Microsoft Teams, and really that's Teams, as a UC platform, as a voice platform, there are some opportunities there. But what about the Power Platform? What about third-party integrations? What about managed service and support? So I really like that conversation because it's a hot topic at the moment.
Fantastic. Yeah, it does sound like an interesting one because there's so much more. You're right. Just it's not. There's not just Teams. There's a whole ecosystem, isn't there?
Yeah,
A whole universe of opportunities and capabilities and
definitely.
vendors and
It's pretty endless. It's almost like a
yeah,
where to start more than anything else.
fantastic. And I think that's it from us, Tom. Unless there's anything else from you this month.
No. Other than the Operator Connect and the build news, nothing else major on the Teams front. We'll start seeing some more news trickle through, I'm sure, over the next coming months. So we'll see what's next month. But we head into the summer. Usually there's a little bit of a slowdown there, so we'll see how it goes.
Indeed. Well, thanks for taking time out again today, Tom. And that's it from us. If you've enjoyed today's session, please subscribe to UC Today News and give this video a quick share on social, as it's always appreciated. And if you're a Microsoft Teams fan and you want to be part of the conversation, you can connect with Tom or myself on LinkedIn and Twitter, and our social links are in the description. So I'm Rob Scott from UC Today, and we'll be back again next month for another update. Thanks for watching.